So you see, the most important thing is you do have to organize your files so that they are separate entities that you want to bring in. So I'm going to highlight one for us to bring in to do the tweens. So I'm going to grab this one and I'm going to put it into the clipboard, Control C. Okay. And I'm going to stop my share. So I'm doing just a very simple copy and paste. So I'm going to create a new one, which is you make sure you go to film video, 1920 by 1080. You can leave the default, everything is good. It will be horizontal. Here is your layer here, and you always get this locked layer, so just double click it. Say okay. And make another layer, because Photoshop will not make a layer for you. You have to make another layer. And now I come in here and I'm going to go Control V. Christy, for you, it's Command V for any Mac users. And you want to use Smart Object. Very important. Because then you want to scale it as big as you can. Now I'm missing some things here, so that's not making me happy. So I would go back to grab what I have, and what might have happened is I didn't get everything on that. So that depends on what you have. But what we didn't check, Christy, was that you didn't have a video timeline. So double click. Yeah. So I'm going to enlarge this simply because we're going to do the tweens with this. And double click it when you scale it. So now it's big and large. And here is the layer on there. Now I could jump back to Illustrator. Yeah, I had nothing selected. So I'm just going to go back and get everything again and get everything together. Control C, go back to Photoshop where you guys are. I'm going to make another layer and turn this one off and do Control V, Smart Object. And didn't get everything right, but I got this. And because I missed another piece. So everything is missed because I didn't grab everything in Illustrator. So that's the number one thing to be sure to do. So, so that's in there, and I'm going to go Control T, and I'm going to scale this up big now, Control T, so that it fits. Whoops, don't do Shift key, because the Shift key distorts in Photoshop. Doesn't distort in Illustrator. You have to have it, but definitely on that. So there, double click it. And let me go back to Illustrator to see why I did not get everything. So one thing is definitely in your copy paste, just be careful, okay? Make sure you get everything that you want as far as the image is concerned. So in here, I don't even know why this happens to be here. So I'm going to rasterize this up here, rasterize layer, and turn off the white so I can see. And I'm just going to get rid of this. And I'm going to turn this back on. There we go. Okay. And let me make sure this is in the height. So I would go back, I would jump back, but because this zoom is not, whoops, I keep doing that Shift key because I'm so used to Illustrator. Because I have you, and I don't want to jump back and forth because of zoom. So I'm making ends meet here, as you can see. Okay. And just a couple of things, as you can see, you can grab, you can delete things in Illustrator just like that. So your marquee is how you do things. And I'm going to eliminate that white that I have on the edge. There. Okay. We are together now. And let me rasterize this one. So when you do a smart object, it gives you this icon, as you can see. And what you want to do is rasterize it under layer, rasterize, and do the layer. Now, I assembled this, right? If I had done a good copy paste, as Christine, you had done, seemed to work, I can merge these now, which is what I want to do. So when you merge in Photoshop, you have only your layers that you want to merge on, and you have to have one of them selected. And then you come up here to merge visible, and now it's one. Okay, so now I think, Chrissy, what you're still missing is this video timeline. When you mouse down, you should have two of them. And you have a Mac, and Claudia had a Mac. And Claudia, if you're there, do you have the video timeline now? I can't remember if you had gone through the steps to get that back, because there's a Mac problem, Christy, and over break, I'll find the tutorial that undoes that gives you the video. So, Claudia, are you there? Do you
Yes,
remember?
Professor, I'm here. I haven't played around with the timeline, but I know that it works because I went to create video timeline and everything popped up, like the layers popped up in Photoshop. So I know it works now.
Okay, so somehow Christy has your old problem.
I would update your
Adobe?
Mac iOS, and I would update the what is it called? What is this called? I would update your Creative Cloud.
Oh yes.
Okay.
Update the Creative Cloud.
So I would update both of them, make sure they're like they're just on running on the latest update, and then try doing a new file again, and then bringing all the elements from Illustrator into Photoshop.
There you go.
Okay. Well, good thing I didn't really get much started, so I can't
Yeah,
keep starting these files over and over again, so it's all good.
No, but actually, just to let you know, you can always save what you've done in PSD, and once you make this update, you just go File, Open, or you can drag and drop, don't forget.
Okay.
You can always drag and drop. So, but yeah, that will work for you. But I'm, it's interesting that I'm just happy Claudia is fixed. So yeah, over break time, Christy, maybe you can try to update it. Shouldn't be too long, or after class, of course.
Yeah, I'm looking at my cloud now, and it says there's an update available, so I'll try it.
Ah, there you go. Perfect. Okay, good. Glad they fixed that. I'm sure everybody had that problem. Okay, so once you have it, let's double click it. So now so now you see your timeline, and Andrew, now we're going to get to your questions. We're going to be talking about how to create the tweens, and I'm going to use this one layer. This layer comes from Illustrator, as you saw, and I have a blank layer that I'll talk about, and then I also have a white layer. So on the timeline down here, you can scale this to be a little smaller. Now you want your video, your motion graphic, to be, this is for the motion graphic video now. Animated GIF can be shorter, but I'm emphasizing the fact that you can generate an animated GIF from the timeline like this. So all you have to do again is go to File, Export, Save for Web, come over here to GIF. And if you have a lot of colors, you can try to see if you can compress it a little bit. It will only play better if you compress it without being compromised. 256 is fine, but if it flies at 128, that's good too. And that will generate an animated GIF for you, even though you're using the video timeline. And the same thing would go for the animated GIF. Now you cannot jump back and forth in one document from video to animated frame by frames and vice versa. You either are working in a frame by frame or you're working in a video. You can't go back and forth. So that's important to remember that. So let's go through the tweens. So first of all, it has to deal with keyframes. And so in the keyframes, when you turn down your layers here, these are tweens. Position tween, opacity is appearance tween, and style is appearance tween. This is obviously opaque to transparency, and the layer styles are referring to these layer styles of drop shadows, glows, visual effects. You can animate them, but only these styles, layer styles only. So when you want to do scale and rotate, you need to come over here and click this right button and say rotate. Be sure, and I'll repeat, be sure to untoggle the resize and select off of the page. Then you will see position that is on the other layers. You'll see position change to transform. So now what that means is that you can change the position, you can scale it, and you can rotate it. Down here on position, if you don't need to do a scale and you don't need to do a rotate, you don't have to make the transform. You can just use position. Now, they automatically put on some keyframes. You do not want them. So just select them and delete them. And there's that rotation. So let's see if, let's go to this one here. Yeah, we don't want that one. So we'll take this one first. And this one is good. And then we'll take this one and take that away. So you see, I took away the rotate one. So let's do the first tween, which is position. So again, remember, by default, it's these simple tweens here. If you want scale and rotate, you click down and you click in here for rotate or zoom, doesn't matter. Just be sure to untoggle the resize. So we have everything here on transform. So what you want to do is you want to set up your keyframe position. So let's do that. You don't want to lose it. You want to keep it always visible. That is a starting position for a position change. And then you click here for the keyframe. It will make a diamond keyframe. Now, when you want to advance it in time and you want to move it in time, and remember, Shift key will keep it in place. Shift key down on your keyboard, so you don't wobble it out of position. And when you move it and let go, it makes the keyframe for you. So if you want to pause, you advance the timeline and you click the keyframe here in the middle. And now you have a pause. And then we'll come down here to the end and move it out. Again, Shift key keeps it aligned. So then when you see it, it plays it. Now, the thing to remember is that when you see the preview, it's super slow. Super, super, super slow. So this is a tween for position. Now, spacebar stops it, spacebar starts it. And you can scrub it manually like this as well, which we do a lot because it goes so slow. Now, if you want to go faster or slower, you can certainly do that. You can move these. Again, boom, faster and then the pause. So you can make the keyframes and then adjust them where you want to put them. So I'll bring them back a little bit more in the middle. Okay. Now and don't forget to save, right? Where do I want to put this? Always in my iTech, always in my curriculum, always in my design, always in videos. Okay. Okay, so then now what we want to do is know that there are other tweens to do. So if you wanted to do a rotate, let's do a rotate. That's always difficult. But before we do the rotate, remember to jump back and forth between your keyframes, not manually. Like, don't try to ballpark where you think you are here. Do not do that. Beginners do it all the time. This interface is just like After Effects. And hopefully someday you will be utilizing After Effects. It's a really fun program. Because there are 29 frames per second, you can't eyeball where the keyframe is. Could be at 27, could be at 35. So this dashboard tool lets you jump right to the keyframe spot on to make the change. So I'm going to come in here where there is no keyframe, and I'm going to go Control T, and I'm going to rotate it up here to be 90, 180, actually. So you can change it up here to 180. And double click. And it makes a keyframe. Now I'm going to move this out a little bit more. And then I'm going to advance it as it's already doing. And let's see if it does go to that. Oh, it does. Let's see. Kind of moves a little bit though. Nope. There you go. Let's watch this. Spacebar play. So you see, that gives you a full rotation. So again, let's repeat this. Back to the keyframe. Lock it in. Lock it in twice, so it's a pause. If you want a rotation, then go to the middle, rotate it 180 degrees. You cannot put in 360. You can only put 180 at a time, 180, 180. So that's the easiest way when you know you want a full rotation. Okay, so that tween is called rotation. So now we have that. Now, what I want to speak about is the duration of your animation. So you always take your last layer, which is your bottom layer, which is your background, and you hover over the edge, and there is time right there. So time is 6 seconds. So you want your motion graphic video to be at least 20 seconds. That's good information. Remember, a television commercial broadcast is 30 seconds. So you can, you can do it up to 15. You could, if you did 20 seconds, you could do 15 seconds and leave 5 seconds for your credits, right? Your animated GIF should be shorter, of course. That should just be 5 seconds, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, just something quick. It can be longer. These are all discretions that you can make on your own. The problem with anything is if it's too short or too long and it's not any good, it's got nothing to do with time. It's got to do with the animation. So if you because sometimes people make things too long and it can be shorter, or sometimes people make it too short and you should make it longer. So these are things, that we decide upon. So that was position, that was rotation. Now let's do a zoom. So again, I'm advancing the timeline. I'm going to grab, it's going to be Control T. Do not use the Shift key. Just go to the corners and I'm going to make it really big. Ah, that's what that situation was there. Something there. Looks like a little face, doesn't it? That's what I liked about this logo design. This was done by one of my students, which came out really nice. Okay. And you see, it makes a scale for me. And boom. Now, again, if I wanted to pause, you come here and you right click, copy, come here, right? I want to pause. You have to have some kind of keyframe here. So just make a keyframe. Again, come back to the middle diamond and then right click on that keyframe and paste. And that will copy and paste your previous keyframe because you copied and pasted the keyframe. But you can't paste to nothing. So you have to have something there. Bing, bing. Okay, now I can roll this out to make this longer. And this is 14, that's pretty long, right? So we can make this shorter. And so I'll bring this up to here. Make this a little long here. Okay. So let's, what I want to do is on this pause, let's move this. So you can move these things, which is really very convenient. So on here, let's do something a little bit longer. And again, let me jump back to the keyframe and the other one. Okay. So on this keyframe, I want a glow to happen. I want a layer effect. So we've done position, we've done rotate, we've done scale, and now we're going to do a visual effect, which is a style. So the way you apply visual effects is that you've got within the tween style, tween right here, we're going to use style, not transform, but style. You need to establish the visual effect first. So the way we do that is you simply, well, you see right now, got it. Right now, all of this has been locked in. So I am going to come over here and I'm going to, I have this highlighted. See, you see this icon here? This has, it locked it in after the transform. So I need to get my style to be in here. So we're going to try to see if we can do that. And I'm going to come up here to layer style and put an outer glow. And there's the outer glow. Okay, good. So on my outer glow, before I do that, let's get back to my keyframe. Look how diligent I am on my keyframe. I want to get it, I want it to start here so that the glow comes here and glows through the rotation to there. That's all I want it to do. So therefore I have to start the visual effect here. So I'm going to come up here to layer style, add the outer glow. Here is the outer glow. And let's make this color become green so you can see it, or red. Let's do red. Take red right from the design. Okay. And you see opacity is gone. Pull it so you can see it. 100%. That's opacity. 100%. That is the glow I like. Now you can play around with these things. They're really fun, right? You can do all kinds of different things. and they will give you different visual effects. Now, there's another trick in doing visual effects with the animated GIF one, but that is another tutorial I will do if we have time tonight. So here is the glow. I'm happy with the glow, but I don't want it to appear on this first frame. So therefore, I'm going to turn it to 0. I don't want this frame to be the glow, but I have to establish it first and put it to the 0 transparency. Now I will jump to the next frame. Whoops, I have to say okay. Jump to the next frame here, and then double click up in the layer, my outer glow, and now I'm going to bring it in. And I want it to come in as such. And when I jump to my second one, I still have it. I'll jump to my next one, which is big. I still have it on the pause. But on this one, as it fades out, I don't want it to be on. So at this point, I'm at that time on the timeline, at that point in time, and I double click my layer effect, double click, and put it back to 0. Oh, I did not make my keyframes. Look at that. Transform took it. Wow, isn't that interesting? So let's see, double click. Let's do double click and bring this down. Yeah, there. I had the whole thing on there. Now something just happened right now, just to let you know, is let's see if this plays through. No. Does anybody know what I didn't do? Is transform doesn't take the glows. Style takes the glows, and I had no keyframe on the styles. So I've got my glow on to be 0. So right here, you want to make a keyframe. I did not make my keyframe. I forgot, just like you will. So now I'm focused on my style. I got my first keyframe. I'm going to jump to my next one using my other frame. I'm going to take my outer glow and I'm going to bring it up, say okay. And now the style made it because I made that first keyframe. I didn't do that last time. So there's the glow. I'm going to advance. See, if you can't advance here because there's no keyframes. You cannot advance here because there's no keyframes. I can advance here, and I want to keep it there, and I want to keep it there, and it's here that I want it to go away. So again, back to double clicking the outer glow, bring it back, turn it down to opacity, and you see it made it in the style. So now let's play this through. It's going to be super slow, and when it's break time now, I'm going to render it out during break time. And the glow is going to happen as you see, and it gets really hot. And you watch, when you come back, you'll see how fast that is. So when you're a video editor, you always render out what you have video edited at the end of the day to see it in real time. And now in real time, it is taking away that visual glow. So those are most of the tweens. The only tween that we didn't do, we'll come back and talk about, which is ease in and ease out. You don't really have that control in Photoshop. So, and again, I could bring this all the way out as it comes, and it would take a long time to get there. So I'm going to do that so you can see that. I can move these 2 keyframes here like this and move it all the way down here, and it will be the 19 seconds. and you will see it go slower on the 19, and you'll still see how slow it is right here. It feels really slow, but when I render it, it will go super fast because it's at 1.5 seconds right now. So anyway, that's why, you know, it will always look slow to you. So I'm going to save this